You knew what I knew. You could get 10 million subscribers within 6 months.
That's what MrBeast said. 10 million subscribers in half a year, starting from absolutely nothing. Most people hear that and immediately think one of three things. He's arrogant, he's exaggerating, or he's only saying that because he already got lucky once. Because from the outside looking in, it seems impossible. A guy starts a brand new channel and somehow reaches numbers that takes most creators years to achieve. But what if he's right? And what if the reason he's right is exactly why he became the biggest YouTuber in the world? To understand that claim, you have to answer one question. Was MrBeast actually lucky, or did he understand something else about YouTube that nobody else ever figured out? Because if it was luck, then anyone could have done it. All someone would need is the right timing, the right algorithm, the right viral moment.
Students studying like a hard boy are giving about a chicken prize. Ding dong, eat it well and mix it up.
But if it wasn't luck, then everything changes. Because it means success on YouTube isn't random. It can be studied, it can be tested, it can be improved. And nobody studied YouTube more obsessively than Jimmy Donaldson. At first, the luck argument actually makes sense. MrBeast started YouTube at a time when the platform was still changing, the algorithm was different, competition wasn't as intense, and once he finally found success, everything started feeding itself. More views created more money created bigger videos created even more views. Looking back now, it almost feels like a perfect storm, a 1 in a million timing event. A lucky break that somehow never stopped breaking in his favor. But there's one huge problem with that story. It ignores everything that happened before anyone knew his name. Because before the private jets, before the millions of dollars, before the world knew who MrBeast was, Jimmy spent years failing. Long before the $1 million challenges, Jimmy was uploading videos that almost nobody watched for years.
But the other thing,
sometimes only getting a few dozen views, sometimes barely breaking 100. Imagine putting hundreds of hours into something, not knowing if anyone would ever see it. Most people would have quit. Most people did quit. Jimmy didn't. But the reason he didn't quit wasn't because he knew he was going to become famous. At this point, he had no proof it would ever work. No millions of subscribers, no money, no guarantee. He was doing something almost nobody else was willing to do. Learning a new industry where the reward was uncertain. He wasn't chasing quick views anymore. He was chasing understanding. Every failed upload answered another question. Why did viewers leave after 30 seconds? Why did this thumbnail fail, while another one performed better? Instead of seeing failure as proof he wasn't talented, he treated it like data. Every video was another experiment. Every mistake became another lesson. And slowly, those lessons started adding up. Most creators uploaded a video, celebrated if it did good, or just moved on if it didn't. Jimmy didn't do that. He stopped focusing too much time on trying to make his own videos perfect. Instead, he tried understanding the machine behind every successful video. But studying YouTube alone wasn't enough, because the biggest breakthrough didn't happen from his own channel. It happened through conversations with other creators who were just as obsessed as he was. The biggest breakthrough in Jimmy's career didn't come from one viral video. It came from years of conversations that almost nobody knew about. During this time, Jimmy surrounded himself with a small group of other creators who loved YouTube as much as himself. Not people with millions of subscribers.
You call that right, woman? Hold it! Hold it!
Just a small group of YouTubers trying to understand the platform. Every day, they would jump on Skype calls together. They weren't talking about becoming famous. They were trying to reverse engineer YouTube itself. They would analyze videos frame by frame, breaking down moments most people would never notice. A different intro, a stronger brightness, a faster edit. Those calls lasted for hours, morning, afternoon, late into the night. Then they would wake up, make another video, collect more data, and do it all again. Not for a month, but for years. While most creators treated YouTube as a side gig, Jimmy and his friends didn't. Every debate challenged his assumptions. Every upload tested another theory. Slowly, without almost anyone noticing, he was building an understanding of YouTube that very few people on earth had. And the crazy part? During this time, almost nobody else cared. There was no guarantee these conversations would lead anywhere. They were just a group of small creators sitting on Skype, trying to solve a platform that even the biggest creators didn't fully understand. But those convos would eventually become one of Jimmy's biggest advantages. Eventually, all of this obsession created a new problem. Jimmy couldn't do everything himself anymore. The ideas were getting bigger, the edits were becoming more complicated, and the same perfectionism that helped him improve at first started slowing him down. Because when every tiny detail matters, letting someone else touch your videos becomes almost impossible. Jimmy made one of the hardest transitions every creator eventually faces. He hired his first editor. He thought no one could edit like him. Every cut, Jimmy sat beside his editor for hours, at first watching every decision they made, stopping him and asking why one cut happened earlier. Initially, he thought no one could edit like him, but over time, after telling his editors what style of videos he wanted, they started thinking like him, and suddenly, he could create videos at a scale that would have been impossible alone.
I would just watch him edit, and then I would just be like, "Why'd you cut that? Why did you cut this?" You know, every YouTuber says it. It's like no one will ever be able to replicate my style. I gotta edit it. But newsflash, someone can. It's actually not as difficult as you think.
And this is where MrBeast stopped looking like a YouTuber and started looking more like a company. The biggest creators don't just make great videos. They build machines that consistently make great videos. Every upload was the product of a system. Ideas were questioned, thumbnails were tested, titles were rewritten. Nothing was left to chance. After every upload, Jimmy and his team would break everything apart. Every answer became another rule, another lesson, another improvement. One improvement doesn't change much, neither do 10, but hundreds stacked on top of each other over years become almost impossible to compete against. By this point, success wasn't coming from one lucky idea. It was coming from a process that got smarter after every single upload. But building that system came with a huge risk. As the views grew, so did the money. Most creators would have slowed down.
And see, that's what the problem was. I said, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
Bought a nicer house, a nicer car, finally enjoyed the years of hard work. Jimmy did the opposite. He poured almost everything he earned right back into the next video. Not because he had to, but because he believed the next idea had to be bigger than the last. Sometimes that meant spending hundreds of thousands of dollars before earning a single dollar back. Imagine putting nearly everything you've made into one upload, hoping millions of people decide it's worth watching. If that video failed, so did the money behind it. Most people would have played it safe, but Jimmy kept raising the stakes again and again and again. Most people think becoming the biggest YouTuber means life gets easier. For Jimmy, it became harder. When you're a small creator, one upload isn't the end of the world. When you're the biggest creator on the platform, one bad upload costs millions. Hundreds of employees depend on those videos succeeding. Entire productions, warehouses, businesses, products, sponsors. Getting to the top was one challenge. Staying there was completely different. The audience expected bigger and better. Every upload had to outperform the last. The pressure didn't disappear once he made it. It multiplied, and somehow he kept finding ways to raise the bar. But there's one part of Jimmy's story that often gets left out. People see the views, the money, the giant productions, but they rarely see what it cost to build them. Because for years, YouTube wasn't just something Jimmy did. It became almost everything he thought about. While most people were hanging out with friends, taking vacations, or enjoying weekends, Jimmy was thinking about the next upload, thumbnail, or an idea that could just be 1% better. YouTube became an obsession, not because someone forced him to do it, because he genuinely couldn't stop thinking about it. And maybe that's the biggest misunderstanding about success. People see the outcome, but they don't see the lifestyle required to create it. Most people want the results. Very few people are willing to live the process that created them.
Yes, like prom and I don't know, other stuff like that. None of that stuff.
I was so obsessed. I'm almost every hour of the day. That's what I was doing. In math class, in English class, in any class, any time of the day, I was thinking about YouTube.
And that's exactly where millions of creators misunderstood everything. Because from the outside, copying MrBeast looks simple. Spend more money, give away bigger prizes, make crazier challenges, create flashy thumbnails, but those things were never the reason MrBeast succeeded. They copied the surface, not the foundation. They copied the giveaways, not the obsession. They copied the ideas but not the experimentation. They copied the videos but not the years of studying behind them. Because you can't copy thousands of hours spent analyzing videos nobody else noticed. You can't copy a team trained to think the same way. You can't copy a system built one experiment at a time. People thought the videos were the secret. They weren't. The process was. And that's why so many channels looked like MrBeast without ever becoming MrBeast. So let's go back to what he said.
You knew what I knew. You could get 10 million subscribers within 6 months.
At first, it sounds impossible. Then it sounds arrogant. Then it sounds lucky. But after looking at everything behind the scenes, the years nobody watched, the obsession, the Skype calls, the endless experiments, training his editors, building a team, creating systems instead of chasing viral moments, risking everything on each upload, handling the pressure of staying on top, the statement starts sounding like something else. Not arrogance, not luck, but experience. Because someone who gets lucky once hopes it happens again. Someone who builds a system knows exactly how to repeat it. So, was MrBeast just lucky? No. Luck absolutely played a role, but not in the way most people think. Luck may open a door, but it can't build a system. It can't survive years of failure. It can't train a team. It can't create an obsession so intense that YouTube becomes all you think about from morning until night. Jimmy Donaldson didn't build the biggest channel on YouTube because he got lucky. He built it because he spent years understanding the platform better than almost anyone else. That's why he believes he could do it again. Not because lightning would strike twice, but because he would know exactly what to build from scratch. And maybe that's the biggest difference between luck and mastery.